Welcome to Ounces and Miracles. Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Destiny.
In our first episode, you got to know my NICU journey.
And today it's my turn. I'll be sharing my story, the challenges, the miracles, and the moments that brought me here.
Every NICU journey begins with a baby's story. Let's start there. Can you tell us a little bit about Delaney?
Like you, I always kind of knew something would happen, but I didn't know like this would happen, obviously.
Yeah.
My pregnancy was actually super smooth. We had no complications. Everything was fine in the beginning. And then at about 20 weeks, I went for an appointment and they told me that there was no amniotic fluid around her.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah. At that point, they were thinking that either her kidneys weren't functioning or her bladder didn't grow. I went home. They're like, basically, there's nothing we can do because they wanted to do an amniocentesis to see why I had no fluid, but obviously, no fluid can't do that. So
Right.
I just went home. It was what it was, and we were just hoping for the best. And I remember that pregnancy with Delaney, period, that entire pregnancy, I was obsessed with watermelon. I
It's
went
good. I don't
home
blame you.
I went home and I binged on watermelon. For
Mm.
days straight, I ate nothing but watermelon because they did tell me that it was possible that I was dehydrated, but they did test for dehydration. I wasn't. At 23 weeks, when we were supposed to do the anatomy scan, there still was no fluid. They actually didn't even tell me her gender that day. They just ended up having me go to the hospital because they didn't really know what to do with me.
Oh, nice.
Right, great. I went to the hospital and they released me because again, there was really nothing they could do. I had a just a regular OBGYN appointment at 26 weeks and I go to the appointment and there was a little bit of fluid. And so they did want go ahead and schedule me for the amniocentesis. Well, I actually didn't make it to that because I had another appointment 2 days later, and at that appointment, my blood pressure was high, they tested my pee, and there was protein in my urine, so I had, preeclampsia. They're like, "Oh, yeah, you need to go to the hospital right now," and I was like, can I come back tomorrow?" And they were like, "Lady, you could have a stroke." I actually went and picked up Joshua from work instead of going, and then we went and got McDonald's. I had a 20-piece nugget with the biggest sweet tea I could possibly get. And then I went to the hospital.
I mean, you
So,
knew you weren't about to eat for like 24 hours,
I
so
needed I
I can't even blame you.
I needed it. We get to the hospital and, they admitted me but the hospital that I was going to, they did not have a level 4 NICU. So I was in the hospital for 2 days because they were trying to, get my blood pressure down and see if we could just hold her in for a little longer. Didn't work. 2 days in, they went ahead and transferred me to a level 4 NICU hospital. We get to the new hospital and they did the 2 steroid shots beforehand to help her lungs.
Oh, you got the 2. That's
Yeah,
good.
basically they were like, "It's time." Of course, freaking out, I called my sister because she's a medical assistant, but she's in school to be a nurse. So I called her and I'm just like, "What do I do?" Because they basically told me that at that point it was my choice of how I wanted to proceed. Had I
Oh,
had a
yeah.
vaginal birth, they basically said that there was pretty much no chance she would survive that. So,
I
it
think I
was
heard the same thing, I guess
yeah,
because of the size.
right, and they said it would just be too traumatic on this such a small
Yep.
body. Yep. So, I opted for the C-section, but I did call my sister ahead of time because I mean, if she's not gonna survive, do I really need to do this? And she's like, "Babe, she's fully developed at this point. You're 26 weeks. She has all the vital organs. Just do it." So I'm like, "Okay." We did the C-section. I had a classical with the horizontal and then
Uh,
vertical. Before we even went in, I was off my rocker a little bit, and
Rightfully
they
so.
Right. Joshua had to stay back in the regular hospital room while they took me down to start the anesthesia and everything. I asked the nurse, I'm like, "Can I wear my AirPods so I can listen to music?" She's like, "I've never had anyone ask that, so let me check." I'm like, "Okay." They let me wear my AirPods. We go down,
Wow.
and they were telling me it would take, like, an hour or so. It it took them a minute with the epidural, and then Joshua came in, and then we were they were stitching me up within, like, 10 minutes. S When they first pulled her out, she cried. That was all I needed. She cried. She had a
Mm.
little it was small, but she cried. Yeah. They took her the nurse, grabbed my phone and took pictures of her for me, and then the doctor, she came over and she's like, "She was so tiny. She was like a little baby rat." I said, "I don't think that's a good comparison, but"
No.
And then, yeah, we went to the recovery room. She went to the NICU. Joshua went with her. I saw her the next day. And all
No.
everybody kept telling me was how hairy she was. She came out with a head full of hair at 26 weeks. Head full.
Oh.
And then, but she's genuinely whole body hairy. Like, you genuinely look like a little rat.
Oh. Oh, that's amazing. And you said you were 26 weeks?
Yeah, I was 26 and 5 by the time I had her.
Oh, and how small was she? How much did she weigh?
She was 1 pound,
Oh.
2 ounces, and she was, like, I think 13 inches long.
Well, how long were you in the NICU, and how were those months?
We were actually in the NICU for 14 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I think the first few months were pretty smooth. She was small, so all the
Yeah.
expected things were going on. It was fine. But we had the best nurse ever, Kristen. If you ever hear this, we love you. But,
I don't know you, but I love you, Kristen.
right. Kristen, she was actually a night nurse, and she was the nurse that had Delaney the night she was born.
Oh.
I know. She instantly loved my baby. I think the 3rd day she had her, she's like, "If it's okay with you, I'd love to be her primary." And at the time, I obviously barely knew what that meant, but I'm just like, "Okay, you're nice. So great." Mm, yeah, so she pretty much kept us on our rocker for the first couple months because we didn't know what was going on, what we needed to do, what was being said. He gave us all the updates, made sure Delaney was good. I would say around 4, 5 months is when things got a little hectic. We did have a couple NEC scares, but it was never she never actually got it. She did go NPO a bunch of times and all this other stuff. Um, I did try to give her breast milk. I was pumping for the first, like, 6 months, but because they kept going NPO, I was just like, at this point, I'm draining myself for no reason." I stopped after about 6 months, and then, that's when we pretty much figured out that she had a dairy allergy, so she went NPO for another little while, but then they tried to say that the stomach issues caused more respiratory issues, and she ended up getting the pulmonary hypertension diagnosis, and then 7 months is when she fell into the pulmonary hypertension crisis.
Oh.
That was when it really got chaotic. She did at one point
Yeah.
get pneumonia, and I think that's what kinda started it out. But after that, she was on nitric. Anything they could give her, she was on it. And it just wasn't really working for her. So they started her they started her on sildenafil, and that was almost the beginning of the end. So
Oh,
it was like
no.
it worked well for her to get her off of nitric. But then it's like after she was off of the nitric, it will work against her.
Oh, interesting.
And I honestly, I have no explanation. I still don't understand it, but the doctors fought me because it makes no sense. So I get it, but at the same time, if I'm telling you what I want to do for my child, let's do it. Mm. I had to fight with them for months. They had her on a paralytic for about 3 months straight. So,
Oh, that's a long time.
yes, she was medically paralyzed for 3 months, and that was around Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of those holidays. She was paralyzed. Yeah. I was telling the doctors that we wanna lower the sildenafil, we wanna try a different med, whatever. They weren't listening. So I called Nationwide to get a second opinion because I had joined all the respiratory groups, all the pulmonary hypertension groups on Facebook, and anybody I could talk to, I talked to 'em. A lot of people were saying that Nationwide was a great place to start. I called them and asked for a second opinion. But because I was not on my P's and Q's, like I told you with my notes, I did not have her vent settings at the time. So they weren't able to get me like exact
Oh,
settings that I
yeah.
should request. So they just asked for her doctor's number and they said they reach out to her doctors. About a week goes by and I would be asking every day, well, have you spoken to Nationwide? Is there a new plan or anything? Of course, there wasn't one. Right. At that point, I was like, "Look, just transfer my baby. There's a hospital 45 minutes away. It's a bigger hospital. It's a research hospital. Transfer her." Well, they agreed, and then they came back like 2 days later and was like, "Oh, well, they don't have any beds available right now." I'm just like, basically, I felt helpless. I'm doing everything I can on my end. They're not listening to me, but they're also not trying to help me get somebody who will listen to me. And then, I would say when she was about 11 months old, right before her first birthday, we were driving on our way to the hospital to go see her. And I got a call from the hospital, and I'm like, hello, thinking obviously the worst because of everything that was going on. And
You do not want the hospital to call you.
yeah, literally, let me call.
Yeah.
When they called, it was a doctor. I will never forget this man in my life. His name was Dr. Logan. And he started out by telling me his experience. He was like, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I came from Nationwide Hospital. And I just like stopped in my tracks because I'm like, at first I thought he was just calling to give me my second opinion. So then he kept going and he's like, well, I'm here in Jacksonville at this hospital and I've looked over your baby's information and I'm taking over her case. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
literally the biggest breath of relief I could ever breathe. And
That's amazing.
right. And then he followed it up with, I know you're opinionated and I want to be on your team. What is it that you need from me?
Oh.
And I was like, oh, this is literally a godsend. There's no way that this is just random.
Yeah.
And we get to the hospital, he comes in the room, we discuss everything that's going on, and he got her x-rays back that same day, and he's like, why is she still on sildenafil? The same med that I had asked them to either discontinue or lower. And nobody had answers, none of the doctors wanted to do anything, nobody wanted to say anything. And so he's like, "Yeah, no, let's stop that now, and we'll see what happens." They stopped it. She came out of the pulmonary hypertension crisis. She got off of the paralytic, and everything just kind of started moving fast. At this point, they had already brought up the possibility of needing a trach. I had declined months prior before the pulmonary hypertension crisis, but because she was in it so long, they wouldn't have been able to trach her and do the surgery and everything during the crisis. Once she got out of the crisis, he basically was like, "Look, we can keep trying and, waiting for her to breathe on her own, or we can do the trick and get you out of here." So I'm like, "Just get us out of here. As far away from these people as possible, get us out." We went
Wait,
ahead with the
so
trick.
so did sildenafil initially make the respiratory issues and pulmonary hypertension worse?
Initially, no. No. That's why I genuinely have no understanding of what the problem was, but that was the one thing that changed. Yes, she was already having the respiratory issues. She was already needing nitric on and off kinda, but we had done DART at one point and, she started doing better. Well, she got off of the nitric, she was on high flow for, like, a month, and then it just all went bad. So that's when she started needing the extra support, they put her on the
Mhm.
nitric, and then they started sildenafil because they were saying that her lungs were restricting. They need to open them up.
Mm.
They started her on the sildenafil. It helped while she was on the nitric, but I just feel like once she got off of the nitric, she didn't need it. So at that point, the sildenafil was still keeping her lungs open, but that meant extra blood was flowing into her lungs that she did not need.
Like
So
overeating.
right. That was really the issue. So, but basically, once he came, he seen exactly what I was saying. He understood immediately, and he made the correct changes. It was just it was yeah.
It sounds a lot kinda like how our history went.
Yeah. They didn't wanna listen to me. There are many times that they put in my chart because mom said so, and absolutely I did. There was that.
Did they initially make her respiratory status worse
Yes.
by
The short answer is yes, to be honest, and I don't wanna say Dr. Lovin confirmed it because he did not, but
Right, helped you, and he
right,
actually listened to you, and that's the
right.
important part,
That
is he
was
did what
all
nobody else would do.
but she had already been in the hospital for, like, 9 or 10 months. We agreed to the trach. Cool, cool. She goes for the surgery. Um, she got the surgery in March of 2022. She got her trach and her G tube at the same time. After that, once the trach was in, pretty much she was fine for the most part, like tutorial wise, she was fine. Then we started having issues with the G tube.
It feels
Uh,
like a roller coaster, it really does.
it just was never ending. With the G tube, basically once she stopped getting breast milk, they put her on formula. I don't even remember what formula it was. Either way, it was a dairy-based formula, which did not work for her. We ended up switching right, right. Yeah, you heard that.
Okay. Yeah,
Caught it.
because you just said that she had a dairy
You caught it.
intolerance.
You caught it. Yes. So,
Alright.
I got them to switch her to a plant-based. Okay, great. That worked, but then she wasn't gaining weight. Now we're trying to switch and swap and do all this other craziness. Well, I think at that point we ended up on I don't even remember what it was at this point, but yeah, we got that figured out. Everything's cool. But then her G tube would just leak excessively. Then they switched to the GJ tube because she also had to get her PDA closed. Hers never closed.
Mm.
She went and got her PDA closed in the cath lab. So when they did that, they also switched her G tube to a GJ. But it works. It got us out of the hospital. That was all we really cared about at that point. We left the hospital at like 14 months and it was chaos, but we made it.
You made it!
We made it.
Oh, Delaney 100% was meant to be
Mhm.
exactly where she is right now. Well, we kind of have an idea, but out of all of that, what was the hardest part of the NICU journey for you as a
Definitely the
mom?
paralytic part.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not even that that really sucks necessarily. It's just that I know my baby's in there, can't say anything, can't do anything, can't move. And then Delaney would fight the paralytic. She'd still be moving. They had to put her on narcotics on top of the it was a lot. And then once they're on the paralytic, they do the eye mask. You want quiet and everything else. It sucked. And then all that was going on around the holidays when we should be home celebrating as a family and all the things. That was definitely the hardest part.
I understand. Were there moments of hope that stood out, even in the hardest times?
Um, at the very first moment of hope was actually at the first hospital that I was at. The nurse was so sweet. Well, she's just talking to me like this is just a normal baby, normal pregnancy. She's like, "Do you have a name picked out?" And I'm like, "I'm 26 weeks. We weren't expecting this. No, I don't have a name." She's like, "Well, it should be something really strong, something like warrior princess." And I'm like, okay." Obviously, still didn't have a name. But I did know that I wanted, if it was a girl, she would have my initials. If it was a boy, they would have Joshua's initials. At this point, we knew it was a girl. So I'm like, well, if you can find a warrior princess name that starts with a D, you let me know. She literally sat there with me and scrolled through Google, Pinterest, anything we could find to try to find a cute girl name that started with a D that was like a strong name. We stumble upon Delaney, and she looked up the meaning for me, and Delaney means from the alder grove, but an alder grove is a plant that has healing properties. I'm like, "Oh, that's literally perfect."
Yeah.
So, there we have Delaney. And
Aw.
then, I think the next one was actually meeting Kristen because we genuinely had no idea what we were doing, and I don't think my baby would have survived as long as she did had it not been for Kristen, because she was on top of everything. She helped me learn how to advocate for her, you know? I would say though them as well as Dr. Logan coming was the biggest glimmer of hope.
Yeah, good nurses are so important too.
Mhm.
How do you and your family how did they handle the uncertainty and the ups and downs?
Um, I don't really, to be honest, I don't remember. Like, I will say my mom and my aunt would just randomly call me and be like, "Let's pray. I just feel like we need to pray together." And that honestly helped a lot. That like kept me a little bit more sane.
Yeah.
Um, but I think for the most part, we kind of went through it just me and Joshua. Like our moms, of course, were around. They would go and see her and all the things, but it was mostly just us figuring it out.
What's one thing you wish people understood about having a micro preemie
Mm.
besides
Um,
everything?
right, literally. Um, just how to communicate with not only like the parent, obviously, but like you're allowed to interact with the kid. You're allowed to, they may not interact back. They may not give you a smile, but like they understand a lot more than people give them credit for, first of all.
Agreed.
And while they're in the hospital, I think a lot of people shy away from talking to them and reading to them and all the things, but like it's still a whole baby. Like
Hmm,
I think that's like a main one for me is that like she's still here. She's a baby. She still understands. She still needs connection. She can build relationships with people.
I understand.
Mhm.
They may have a ton of equipment, but they're still human and they're still a baby.
Yes, like
So, all of the craziness, all of the chaotic, we make it home. Woo! How was that transition from hospital to home?
it was chaotic. Just like the rest of it, of course. Uh, so before we were even able to leave, we had to do like 10 different trainings. Because she did come home with the trach, she came home with a ventilator, she came home on oxygen, she had the feeding pump, she had 24-hour pulse ox, like, it was a lot. So, we had to do all the trainings, and actually I had to fight them because they wanted both parents to be there for every single training. obviously somebody still got to work and it wasn't me. So I can do the trainings, but I mean, he can't just, yeah. So I had to fight them for that so that I could just do the trainings. And obviously, I would teach him when we had time. So there was that. After the trainings, the when it was time to go home, the social worker basically came in. She had a folder that had a bunch of paperwork in it, and it had a bunch of pamphlets in it. And she's like, "Hey, you're gonna need a DME company, you're gonna need a nursing company, you're gonna need this, this, that. So here's all the information and you go ahead and pick." So that was that. So I did all my own research and figured out all my own things and who I wanted to use and how I wanted to do things. So um we picked a DME company and a nursing company, but they, obviously they work close together a lot of the times with a lot of the patients. So they were
Mhm.
already familiar with one another. So that actually worked out really well for me.
That's good.
With Delaney having coming home with a trach and a ventilator, she also had a respiratory therapist from the DME company.
Oh, okay.
He was super knowledgeable. He helped a lot. And that was all great. And then the social worker comes back in with another folder and tells me, "Hey, these are all the specialists that she needs to see. You need to schedule all these appointments, and they need to all be scheduled for within 2 weeks from the time she comes home." So I'm like, it's not really a thing. Like, I don't know.
I can't believe they
So,
put all of that on you.
everything. So, at that
Wow.
point, I had already chosen my nursing company. The nursing director was literally, I still love her, Miss Helen. I love you. Um, we're actually not even with that nursing company anymore, but I love her. She was the greatest thing to happen. She she actually told me what doctor's office I should go with because I had already started calling doctor's office, but nobody's taking no medically complex kid just
Yeah.
randomly. So, she actually let me know there was a doctor's office that works closely with the hospital for medically complex kids. So I was able to get an appointment with them. Her pediatrician was and is amazing. So she actually helped me set up all the specialist appointments because otherwise we
I
probably would have.
cannot believe they did that.
Yeah. So she helped me set up everything. She gave me whatever referrals she felt like I would need. She had everything set up. She even helped me set up her SSI. She helped me set up with early steps. She helped me set up everything. So
Wow.
it was
Everything that that case manager should have done.
exactly
Wow.
right. So she was definitely helpful. Basically, once we left the hospital, everyone has been great for the most part. It's just in the hospital, we had so many issues. She helped me set up everything. We picked all her doctors. Um, and yeah, it was pretty much smooth. Well, no lies. The day we came home from the hospital, basically, we had all the meetings 2 days before she came home. The day she came home from the hospital, Joshua actually had to work, and I was like, "You don't have to miss work. We're just going home, right?" Yeah, no. I should have told him to miss work. But but I had his mom there. It was like I still have help, but not as much because she's fully
Yeah.
trained and everything. Eh, First of all, Veronica, you're hilarious because she comes to the hospital, we get there, everything's great, and we brought this car seat upstairs because we're like, "Oh, yeah, like, we're gonna need to do the car seat test and all that before we leave." Mind you, they didn't tell us we had to do the car seat test until the day we were supposed to leave. So we bring the car seat upstairs, and then after we did the car seat test, she and I both realized that neither one of us know how to install a car seat.
It was a journey.
Uh, it was a chaotic journey, but we made it. After the car seat test, she was supposed to be taking the car seat back to the car while I was packing up all of Delaney's stuff, right? She's gone for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, "What's happening?" I call her. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" She's like, "I'm lost. I have no idea where my car is." Oh my god. So before we discharged, the respiratory therapist from the DME company and the nursing director from the nursing company met us at the hospital. They brought all her equipment and stuff that she would need for the first night. And then her they met us at my house when we actually did discharge. So we get to the house, mind you, um, she was discharged on a Tuesday. We had moved into our
Same.
apartment. Really?
Yeah.
Twinsies. We had moved into our apartment the Friday before. Yeah.
Ooh.
When we got to the apartment, literally nothing was set up besides her room. Her room was done. Her crib was set up. Like everything was good for her. Well, we get to the apartment. The nursing director, the respiratory therapist, and the nurse that was gonna do her first night, they all came. The nurse was the sweetest, loved her. But she literally only worked with us for like a week and then they put her on another case. So I'm like, thanks,
Of
I guess.
course.
Right. Then she had an appointment 2 days after we got discharged. We go to the appointment. We go back home. 2 days later, she has COVID. We went back to the hospital. She did get admitted for 3 days. And then we got discharged again. But ever since then, we haven't had any admissions unless they were like planned admissions, thank God.
Yeah.
Um, the whole coming home process was literal chaos for like the first, I would say, month was hard. But once we finally like got her on the schedule, figured out like what she likes, what she doesn't like, how she wants to move, where she wants to be at, like it worked. We made it.
Mm. Yeah. It's all trial and error.
Very much so. Mhm.
Oh, we pretty much got the gist of those early days. When you got discharged with a trach, I have seen that other families, they were required to have a nurse. Was that a requirement for discharge?
Yes and no. Well, no.
Okay.
Basically, they wanted me to agree to 24-hour nursing. I didn't want that. I'm home all day. I don't need a nurse during the day while it's just me and her. I
Right.
I got her. So they did go ahead and scale it back and they were okay with me just doing the overnight hours. But I had to write out a schedule saying that I could have 2 people at my house at all times for her. I feel like the hospital did a lot of fear mongering when it came to the trach. Basically, we did have to do trach CPR, but they made it seem like you're only able to change her trach or, handle her in an emergency if there are 2 people there. The way they taught us was for 2 people. Everything that we had to do was with 2 people. Once we got home and, I was able to do my own thing with her, then it was like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, I've got this, like, it's fine." Yeah, they wanted me to have 24-hour nursing. I elected for night nursing, and then after that, though, honestly, they only really care while you're being discharged. It's a liability thing. They don't care that you keep a nurse, they don't care about anything else. They just want you to have one while you're leaving the hospital to say that they did their job. They genuinely
Yeah.
don't care. That's why I said I feel like they just fearmonger real bad because why would you want me to have to depend on another person? It's not realistic for 2 people to be around her at all times. I feel like instead of trying to fearmonger and get people scared to be alone with their kid, you should be teaching me how to help her, how to rescue her if I need to by myself.
Since being home, how has your daughter surprised you? Like, any milestones or moments that felt like miracles?
I mean, to be honest, she wasn't supposed to live. So it's just anything she does is like, oh my God, you're the greatest.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
she learned how to crawl. That's kind of been backtracking now because of the surgery, but we're gonna give that some time. That's fine. but she had hip dysplasia. She wouldn't have been able to walk had we not gotten the surgery.
Right.
So she was learning how to walk before the surgery. She would just cruise along the wall, but she just had no balance. She says more words than we ever really thought she would, like verbally.
Oh,
She's learning some sign language. Um, I don't know. She's sweet.
standing true to her name.
Yes, definitely.
Hmm. No.
Definitely. She shows out.
Oh. That's so awesome, though.
Yeah.
Well, now about her hip dysplasia, was that something from, like, birth or oh, okay, and it just wasn't
She was
treated?
she was breached. So basically when they pulled
Oh.
her out, it just yeah. So they've been following it since the NICU. But her orthopedic doctor didn't wanna do the surgery too soon because
Mhm.
it could have messed up growth or this and that. Plus, it's just a hard surgery to recover from anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think this year when they did the X-rays, it was like 75% out of socket, both sides. So it was just like, it's now or never. We went ahead
Yeah.
and did that over the summer. She is, what, like 3 months post-op now? And now she's trying to stand, she's doing high kicks, she thinks she's a cheerleader, like, it
Hmm.
went well.
That's awesome. She's
Yeah.
gonna be running around before you know it,
I know, and
and,
I don't even know if I'm ready for that. With her
you're
little
never
sister.
gonna be ready for that.
Ugh,
But
ever.
that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, she's come such a long way.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
'Cause
Did Delaney have any, like, brain bleeds or anything?
she did not.
That's another miracle. You know
That
how
was the
rare that
one thing
actually
we did not
is?
get. I know. She had ROP. I know Kyrie
Yep.
had that too, right? Yeah. So she had ROP. She did get the Avastin shots. She had pneumonia. She ended up getting COVID. She had to have hernias repaired. There was a lot. But yeah,
Yeah.
no brain bleeds, thank God.
Yeah, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
Wow. She is amazing. Uh, well,
Did Kyrie have a brain bleed?
no.
Oh, okay.
Um, she had no brain bleeds, but when she got pneumonia and all of that chaos went down, her body became so stressed out that she eventually had a mild left frontal lobe stroke. Um, yeah, they determined that in the MRI when we got discharged. And they said that they didn't know how that would affect her, if it would. And so far it doesn't seem
Right.
like it is affecting her. She says things when she wants to. She'll do whatever she wants to. Her level of understanding is impressive. Um, but she just don't listen like a normal toddler. So, yeah,
Sounds
it's
about right.
yeah. So and it's apparently incredibly rare for any of that to happen. I was really upset about the
That's crazy.
stroke. Mhm. Yeah, 'cause it just kind of it was like repuncturing the wound of what happened.
Mhm.
And we went through the entire thing with no issues, and then all of a sudden, you guys,
Crazy.
yeah, yeah, that's the downside. But thankfully, with babies being so little and their brains
Different.
can rewire around the
Yeah.
damage, and so it's almost like I mean, it happened, but the way their brains work and how
Yeah.
healing they are, it's almost like it didn't happen, and
Yeah. That's good.
that's yeah, either way, they've done it. These girls are unlike anybody else.
Literally.
I really hope mm, I really hope they can help families in the future just with their stories and, just how much of a miracle they both are.
It's crazy, right?
Yes, if you could go back, and I'm sure neither of us would decide to do that, but if
Mhm.
you could and talk to yourself on day 1 of the NICU, what would you say?
I would probably tell myself not to be so trusting. I feel like going in, I wanted to be cooperative because I feel like that would get me the best results. Um, because
And
not
you're not
only do I
wrong.
right, because not only do I not know what I'm talking about, obviously not a doctor, but like I just that's a scary situation. So it was just like
Hmm.
I just wanted to be trusting. I wanted to believe that everyone would have my baby's best interest at heart. And yeah, I would definitely tell myself that yeah, suck it up, be that girl, be that mom, and piss everybody off. Get what you need and move along. That's the only way to make it through, literally.
Agreed. Unfortunately, yeah. What advice would you give to parents who are right in the middle of the NICU experience?
Oof. Um, Two parents, I would say, first of all, keep your support system. It doesn't matter if that's your spouse, if it's your family, if it's, I don't know, your favorite book. It genuinely doesn't matter. Whatever you feel supports you, keep it. It's definitely a lonely experience. So you gotta find support wherever you can. You gotta we met in a Facebook group, like you have to get your needs met as well as trying to meet your baby's needs. So trying to find support, but also keeping yourself. Like you can't just fall into the NICU. You can't just give up. You have to still be on top of your P's and Q's. You have to still get up every day and go visit and go make decisions and do all the things. So you have to still take care of you too.
It's hard, but you have to.
Definitely.
And your baby goes off your energy.
Yes.
You
Yes.
definitely gotta make sure you're giving
I
yourself a
agree.
lot of love, patience, and grace, as difficult as it is, because you can't help your baby if you can't help yourself.
Right.
I definitely agree with that. How do you celebrate your daughter and her journey today?
um
Besides everything,
Literally,
because
like,
she deserves
anything
it.
he does, honestly. It's like, "Oh my god, you're the best." No, she just likes being praised, to be honest. Like, right now, high fives are her thing. Like, if I give her a high five, she will literally do anything. Like, so that's, her favorite right now. Um, she's really into Miss Rachel. So,
The bee's
anything Miss
knees.
Rachel anything. Miss Rachel is like the greatest thing on earth to her. So anytime I see anything Miss Rachel, I'm buying it, I'm looking at it, I'm whatever we can, we're doing it. Miss Rachel, we love you here too. Um
Oh, yes. Biggest
and then
fans.
literally like our children thrive off of you, lady.
Yes. They learn so
Um
much.
Literally. And then I genuinely believe that that's where she's been learning more sign language because she's learned a couple signs that I did not personally teach her, and I'm just like, "Girl,
Mhm.
okay."
No,
But
100%.
I love it. Yeah, we celebrate with Miss Rachel, we celebrate with claps and high fives and all the things, and yeah, she's not really a gift girly, like, she won't even really open
Terms of
it.
endearment.
Yeah, like she's not so Christmases and whatnot aren't that exciting.
No. No.
But, we still do what we do and she enjoys it, so it's fun.
Yeah. Or in the terms of Lainey and Maddie, "Hi, bye."
Right, exactly.
Because they don't know how to say high five.
Look, that's all you need. It's a good
I
high
know.
five.
Oh, Are there any resources or, like, communities you would recommend for NICU families?
Mm, as far as resources, I would say absolutely apply for SSI, apply for Medicaid, any type of government assistance that you can get for your kid because it's genuinely a lot. And it's expensive if you don't have those resources. So absolutely SSI, Medicaid. Um, I would also say I don't know. Did you is Kyrie a Make-A-Wish kid?
No. I didn't even know we could do that.
Well, you can. So I would say that as well.
Noted. Make a wish. Miss Rachel,
Yeah.
we're coming to meet you.
Yes. Literally, if I could have her meet Miss Rachel for her wish, why did I not think of that? Stop.
Have her come for a birthday party and,
Because
like, sing
Delaney, I registered
songs.
her for her wish when she was like 2.5.
I didn't know we could.
But
How do
there's
you
no
do
like
that?
time frame on it. We just her doctor, her pediatrician. I told you she's the best. Like,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
you
look
have
into
to wait
that.
until they're 2.5. So she didn't tell me until then. But she's like, you want me to go ahead and send a referral? Yes, please. So she's been registered since she was 2.5. And then I also the big Make a Wish chapter or whatever you call it, we didn't actually go with them. There are smaller chapters in your area or in different areas that you can actually go with. So we went
Oh.
with the smaller chapter, which I actually love a lot better because they do events. And so we get our wish, which we get to choose when we're ready for that. So we're gonna wait till she's walking. So we get the wish, and then they do events for Christmas. They actually gave us like an immense amount of toys for both Delaney and her baby sister.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, so definitely look into Make a Wish for sure. And then actually that should be something that your pediatrician can help you with because you'll have to get a doctor referral anyway.
I'm gonna
But
definitely ask ours because I had
yeah,
no idea.
yes, girl.
But at the
So
time, we didn't have a I liked her, but she was new and transitioning,
yeah,
and we were almost, like, in between pediatricians, and
yeah,
she was the in between.
yeah. That's the thing. Like that's why I just experienced doctors is like the number one thing I would tell anyone. Like, yeah, because it's like they know all the little secrets. They know all the little extra resources you can get. Like they know all the small things. Yeah.
Oh, what's next for you and your daughter? And for, like, advocacy?
So, um, right now we're just working on getting her hips healed. She did actually get a cerebral palsy diagnosis. We're
Oh,
still
okay.
kind of seeing the severity of that. But to be honest, even I don't even know what doctor it is that diagnosed it, but she doesn't even believe that it's a severe case
Yeah.
because, like I said, she was cruising and everything before her surgery. So we're just kind of waiting to see what happens next from that. Um, we are working on finally getting the trach out. Thank God. She's been breathing on her own for like a year and a half now. No oxygen, even when she's
That's
sick or
amazing.
anything. So we went over the summer. She did get her current trach downsized. She's capping now, doing all the things. We got to get her a sleep study so that we can get the trach out completely. We're just working on more talking, getting her to communicate more, and trying our best to get her to eat because she is very much aversive. But but I won't even say that because this is why I say that these kids understand more than people know. So if I give her food, she will refuse. She will not eat it. But what, a couple months ago, we had to get X-rays because she swallowed a quarter. So, yeah, recently she started eating rice, but she will literally eat the rice 1 grain at a time. Um,
Aw.
I take it, whatever we can get, I am taking it every time. So, yeah, we're just continuing with her therapies, trying to, catch her up as much as we can. She is in preschool, so that helps as far as with her communication. She gets all her therapies at school and everything. So we're just cruising along.
Hmm. Literally, she's gonna be doing that soon.
I know. Oh my God. She's already started. She's not even fully cleared from her surgery. So I'm just like,
Oh, she's gonna go. She's
yes.
gonna go. That's gonna be so
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I'm writing a book. Do you wanna write a book about Delaney's story?
Um, I do, but I am kind of at a crossroads. I want to obviously get her story out, advocate, and, help as many people as possible with her story. But I am also at a place where I want to focus on her.
Mhm.
Well, I think if I were to write a book, it would be more from her perspective. It would
Oh,
be,
okay.
yeah. So I have thought about writing a children's book more so that kinda teaches kids about special needs kids, a kid with a trach, with a G-tube, who's in a wheelchair. Well, she's in a stroller, but same difference, and make it more normalized.
Yeah.
She's still a kid, she still likes to have fun, she makes jokes without talking, so, like, but you have to get to know them to know these things.
Yes.
So and I feel like seeing a kid in a stroller with a trach, with a G-tube, with all the things, it's scary for a lot of people. I want to basically be that voice and give her her voice as well.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah,
I
I
never
think
would have thought of it like that. I would buy it 100%. It definitely
thank
needs
you.
to be normalized. I think a lot of people see these special needs children as more than they look at their equipment and they think something else. I don't think it's malicious. I think it's just misunderstood.
Yeah, I think people are genuinely just scared, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Even when Delaney first came home from the hospital, it was hard to get even family members to watch her. And not because they don't love her, they don't like her, it's scary. If something
yes,
happens, what do we do? If she needs this, this, and that, then you have to do this, this, and that. And trying to explain all the dynamics, all the possibilities to
yeah,
someone, like that's just not gonna happen ever. So it took us a while to let her stay with anyone, to be honest. Yeah. She was pretty much home with mom and dad or her nurse or whoever for the first probably year and a half, maybe 2. And then once she started breathing on her own, when she didn't need the ventilators, when I feel like a lot of people got more comfortable with her because
yeah,
she's not literally depending on this thing for her life. So I
yes.
think it's a comfort level thing and just people not really understanding what it all means.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's a lot. So you mentioned your youngest.
Yes, my little
You
chaos.
you have another daughter. Um, how has how is Delaney with Demi?
um, when Demi first came home from the hospital, okay, so while I was in the hospital having her, Delaney was with my mom, but she at this time she was in daycare, so she went to a PPEC. I don't know if that's a thing where y'all
Oh,
are, the
yeah.
medical daycares.
Yeah.
So she was in medical daycare. She would go do that during the day. My mom would get her in the afternoon, and then her nurse would come at night. Um, we were in the hospital for what, 2, 3 days. The day we came home, we're all excited. We got home first, and then my mom brought Delaney. And we're all excited, like, "Oh, yay, like, she's gonna meet her baby sister." Ugh, she comes in the room.
Oh.
And I'm like, "Look, Delaney, look at the baby." She immediately just pushed her away, and I'm like, "Oh, no. This is not how this was supposed to be." While I was pregnant, she used to literally lay on my stomach all day, just rub my belly. I'm like, "I think they're gonna like each other." But she didn't like her for a while. I think once the crying stopped is when it was okay. Cause yeah, she was used to being an only child. She was used to
Mhm.
it being quiet and just us focused on her. So, having this crying baby all day was like, "Why?" So, yeah, it took a minute for her to come around, but now they play together. They have their little moments and whatnot. But, now it's more so Delaney's kinda learning to set boundaries now with Demi. So, it's
Necessary.
yes. So I give her all her props every time. I praise her for it because you do have to learn how to tell people no. You have to, well, like the other day, Demi was trying to grab her G2 line, like the
Oh,
line
no.
while she's on her feed. I kept saying, "No, no, no," she's not listening, so after, like, the 3rd time, Delaney looked at me, she looked at Demi, and just popped her, and I'm like, "Good job defending yourself, babes, but just tell mommy." But at the same time, like, I do want her to learn how to defend herself, I want her to be able to set boundaries, so who am I to
Yeah.
it?
For the 2nd and 3rd one, oh, I think they are designed to be irritating,
Yes.
honestly. And the older one is just like, "Why?"
Mhm. Yep, and that's so crazy because the older ones are just so calm, they're so sweet, they
Yes.
wanna be left alone, and then you got these little menaces running around.
Yes.
Yes, that's the dynamic for sure.
I think it's just in the DNA. I think it
Yeah,
has to be.
but it's just it works. It's so
It
cute to watch,
does.
though. It's sweet. They
It
eventually get to understand each other, and it's like, "Okay, I know I can get away with this, this, and that, but she's not going for this." So,
Yeah. Yeah,
it
and
works.
that's a good thing to learn. That's a
Yeah,
great thing to learn. How was your pregnancy different with Demi than it was with
um
Delaney?
with Demi, well, for Delaney, I ended up having to have her at 26 weeks because I had preeclampsia.
Yeah.
With Demi, from the beginning, I was seeing a high risk doctor. I had to take baby aspirin every day
Yeah.
to keep my blood pressure down. Um, I did have to have another C-section, but it wasn't a classical this time, so that worked. I made it to 36 weeks with her, and then we had a scheduled C-section, so that was amazing. Um, Actually, it was completely different. With Demi, I was able to have a baby shower, so that was nice. The day I found out that everything was going wrong with Delaney, I had my gender reveal planned for that very next day, so all that got canceled, so we ended up not being able to do anything for Delaney. My friends did throw me, like, a surprise baby shower after I had her, though, so shout out to y'all,
That's
that was sweet.
sweet.
So, Demi, I made it to 36 weeks. She was, 5 pounds and 2 ounces when she came out, so she was still
Aw.
kinda small, yeah. But no NICU time, thank God.
Well, Destiny, thank you so much for sharing your story today. I know so many listeners will connect with your honesty and your strength.
And thank you to everyone listening to Ounces and Miracles and letting us share our journeys with you. If you've been in the NICU, are currently going through it, or even if you know someone who has, please reach out.
We're here to share support, advice, advocacy tips, and encouragement because no one should walk this journey alone. And if you're a family member or a friend who isn't sure how to support NICU parents, the space is for you too.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you'd like to share your story, we'd love to connect. And remember, every ounce.
Truly is a miracle. Bye.
Bye.